morning. But I do. Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick Ellis, President and CEO of the New Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. I'm so happy to be here this morning. Glad to see all of your smiling faces. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. I do want to thank the corporate room for allowing us to have the coffee of the city here every month. And we want to thank Dunkin' Donuts for the coffee and donuts this morning. Even though they weren't ready, they did a stellar job in getting it all together very quickly for us. So I appreciate your patience on that. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to turn over to the one, the only, the mayor of Wildomar, Bridget.
Thank you. For a few more months, actually, I'll be mayor, and then we will change at our December meeting is when we do change the title. We do rotate the title of mayor and mayor pro tem amongst the five of us. So up next year it will be Ashley, and she'll be up here leading all of you. Yes, congratulations. So thank you. So this is actually for this year. It's going to be our last coffee with the city, just for this year. We start back up in January, no fear. We love bringing this venue to you that you're able to come and ask questions in a more informal setting than our very formal city council meeting. So thank you for attending. We thought it might be a little light turnout because of the holiday yesterday, but no, you guys are all here, so thank you for coming. We do want to do our city staff in attendance. We know our city manager, Dan York, he usually comes in just right now, so he will be here. Dan York. Matt Bassey also, he's been working on our general plan. We're going to have public meetings of that. That's our Vision 2040. Those meetings will be set, and please attend. This is what you want to see, what Wildomar's going to look like in the future. We want your input, so as soon as we have those meetings, we will announce those. Daniel Torres, Community Services Director. He is here. He's in the back. Thank you to Daniel Linnell. We just saw them yesterday. We had our Veterans Day observance ceremony, so thank you for your hard work on that yesterday. Jason Fairbeck, I saw him. Yes, thank you. Public Works Director. He probably gets the most questions of what's happening, so he is here today. Jeanette Morales, our City Clerk. Good. Scott Burns, our Building Official, over here to my right. Our Code Enforcement team, I saw Raul come in, and Tina, and John Parker. John Parker and Tina, thank you. I've been contacting them a lot with issues, so thank you for responding to all my emails. We have Kimberly Davison, our Economic Development Director. And then again to my right is our Mayor Pro Tem, Ashley DiFilippo. We also have Matt Kramer, our Development Services Technician. Okay, there's in the back. Heidi, our Deputy City Clerk. Heidi J, we call her. There she is. And then, of course, our Code Enforcement team, so thank you. Okay, some of our guests, of course, we have the Wildomar Beautification Volunteers. They're here. We had a busy weekend. The election was over, so I was like, okay, let's go to work now. They're out almost every day, but we did have a busy weekend. We cleaned up on Corridon. Oh, Daniel, if you haven't driven by, you need to go see it. So Corridon from Graham to Union, all those olive trees. We had 2 different landscape companies come out and partner with us. This is huge. This is how this works. These partnerships are amazing, and that's what our state of the theme for the state of the city was, Power of Community Partnerships. We have Remarkable Landscaping and Tri-Valley Landscaping come out with us and trim those trees and get all that cleaned up. We also had, unfortunately, an illegal dump of mulch, but it wasn't bad because we actually spread that out and it made the area nicer, so that was okay. Partnered with us, and then on Sunday we were able to help a resident. We do get referrals for residents with overgrown yards, and so we were able to help that property. And then I want to mention, because Enrique Correa, he does photography with the chamber. He came out on Saturday to take pictures with us, and then he ended up helping. He put down his camera and started communicating. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay, so some announcements. We do have a council meeting tomorrow night, so we do meet the second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m., so that's tomorrow night. We'd love to see you there. On Friday, please join us for movie in the park to watch Cars. This is at Martin O'Brien Park. Kids can bring over their ride-on car, like a Power Wheel, and go through a course filled with activities and interaction with our sheriff's department. Starts at 5 p.m. and the movie begins at dusk. So please bring it over, all your kids over. Next Tuesday, we will have our conversation with the Mayor Pro Tem, and that's that yellow basket right here on Clayton Keith, and that begins at 9 a.m. And then if you are a business, we want to meet with you. So we have Wildomar Engaging Business web meeting. This is on November 20th at 3 p.m. at City Hall. My assistants are showing the flyers. They're on your table. And they're double-sided, so it tells you about the mayor and mayor pro tem, and it also tells you about our web meetings, so please join us. We usually meet the fourth Wednesday, but we're moving it up because of the Thanksgiving holiday. And then in December, that will also be dark. So the coffee with the city will be dark, the web meeting will be dark. I haven't asked Ashley if we'll be dark. We'll talk about it at the mayor and mayor pro tem coffee, what we're going to do with that. Okay, so today we have lots of information about building and safety, so I'm going to turn it over to Scott Burns.
Good morning, how's everybody doing? So my name is Scott Burns, I'm the city's building official. I oversee the building safety department, which consists of our development services and permit technicians. It consists of our building inspectors and also our plan review team, which is a third-party consultant that we use. So we'll go ahead and get into it. What are building codes and building permits? And then how do they work? Well, building codes exist in essence to protect the safety and well-being of people in their homes, people in their businesses, from different hazards, fire hazards, unsanitary conditions, structural concerns, and then just for general health and safety. These codes, many people think they're very restrictive, but in essence, these are just the minimum standards of construction. And they are developed to set that minimum standard of construction, and it goes over the minimum standards of maintenance, how you can occupy the building, and the materials that you're using to construct that building. So what's a building permit? It's a simple question, right? So a building permit, in essence, is the legal authority or legal right to begin construction on your property. Be it a commercial building, your private residence, it's the city granting you the authority that you can construct on your property. And then those building permits, they typically have two phases. The first is it comes in as a building permit application along with a set of plans, and our development services team, our permit technicians, start processing those. And they process the applications, they go off into a plan review, and then once that plan review is approved and the permit's ready to issue, we can issue it. And then it goes into phase 2, which is the construction. And that's where our building inspectors go out and they verify that what is being built meets those plans, because those plans have gone through a review process to make sure that they're in compliance with the 13 volumes or 13 books that consist of the California Building Code. Building code all the way through administration, energy, all those things. So that's what the inspectors do. They go out and they verify that, yep, that construction is in compliance, it looks good, there's quality craftsmanship, and it's going to be safe for those people in those buildings. Question for you. Does anybody know the approximate year the first building code was instituted? There's 1900, last year, 1758 BCE, before Common Era, and 33 CE, Common Era. Anybody?
Take a guess.
Okay, let's do this. Let's have a raised hand because there's going to be a Starbucks gift card. Anybody want to raise their hand, I guess? Back here? C. You are right. Approximately 1758. And that was the first known building code. It was written by King Hammurabi. It's known as the Hammurabi Code. And in that code, it basically set those standards. It wasn't necessarily a standard of how to construct it, but it set the standard for what those designers or what those persons or those people building the structure had to meet. So essentially it was, if you build something and it falls and it kills your wife, or excuse me, if you build something and it falls and kills the owner's wife, then you know what happens to your wife? She's done. That was what those codes originally were. That's how strict they were. If you build something, and your daughter, or the homeowner's daughter was killed, then you lost your daughter. It's not that way anymore. So, what requires a building permit? It's kind of a long list. So I'm going to read it, bear with me. This is right from our current building code this year. So currently we're under the 2022 California Building Code. It's a triannual cycle, so every 3 years a new building code comes out. So constantly through the year, the team of building department staff is coming up to speed, continuing our education in those new codes. So right out of the building code it says, a permit is required when someone intends to, this is where it gets long, construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or to erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, plumbing, or mechanical system, the installation of which is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be performed, shall first make an application with the building official, that's me, and obtain the required permit. So there's a lot of things that require building permits. We may hear something from our contractors that says, no, don't worry about it. Doesn't require a permit. Building safety department's phone call away. Call us, ask. There's many things still that do not require, but anytime you're moving, you want to move an electrical outlet, it requires a permit. Anytime you want to remodel your kitchen and you have to move your sink from this side to that side because the window's better on the view's better on that side, you're going to need a permit for it. If you're just doing maintenance stuff, that doesn't require a permit. So you'll be good there. Like I said though, we're only a phone call away. Best thing to do, if somebody tells you it doesn't require a permit, just give us a call. We'll answer that question for you. Yep, Kevin, you gotta get a building permit. Oop. I hit the button. Oh, there we go. All right. So, who can remember why building codes and permits are needed? There's no gift card on this one.
Now you're
stronger building. My wife might
right.
It's just a way for us to set some minimum standards that I guess the math has been done and figure out if you at least do it this way, you got a reasonable chance of buildings unsafe.
Yeah, very good. Building codes and permits exist to protect our homes, businesses from natural disasters, electrical fires, those minimum standards, from unsanitary conditions and other health and safety risks. Now, many of these codes that are adopted, even in current codes, started a long time ago. Many of these codes that are in our building codes currently are there because something happened, right? Something happened to somebody, or they saw a pattern of things happening to multiple people, and so they addressed it. They addressed what that concern was. Talking about how old some of these codes are, is anybody familiar with the Great Chicago Fire?
Yes. Yeah.
So 1871, I believe, Chicago, there was a fire, lasted 3 days, 300 people died, 17,000 structures were destroyed, over 17,000 structures were destroyed, and over 100,000 other people were homeless. And the damages at that time in 1861, or 1871, I can't remember, 71, thank you, was estimated to be around $200 million, so way back then. One of the gentlemen that was running for council was elected. You know what after what he promised to do? He promised to institute stricter building and fire codes. And many of those codes that were adopted way back then, 1871, still hold much bearing and hold much weight on codes that we have for current construction methods, kinds of materials. Right? After that fire, they started using more rock, stone, marble, things that didn't burn. Setbacks, how far buildings could be from property lines, how far buildings could be from one another. Many of those things are still current in the code cycle. So what does all this mean for me and the business that I want to open specifically? We're going to delve into business side of it. Well, if you're going to open a business in a vacant tenant space, many times when you're moving in there, you're going to have to do some improvements. So those are typically called tenant improvements. You're going to have to take this blank canvas of a room and design it and put it where you want to have your point of sale counter, where you want to have your kitchen, where you want to have your patrons sit. So those are considered tenant improvements. And actually on your tables, we have a flyer opening a business in Wildomar, and it goes over some of this information. Making improvements, an occupancy permit. Do you need a plot plan or conditional use permit? That's specifically into the planning department. Is there any other permits, federal, county, state, that you need? And then once your permits are obtained, what do you do? So if you're planning on opening a business, it's a very good helper for you. And then depending too on the kind of business that you're opening will depend on what you're really going to need to do. If it's a sprinkler building, then, and you're modifying it, you're building walls, you're going to have some sprinkler plans drawn and designed up. If you're opening a restaurant, you're going to have to get in contact with the health department. And prior to us being able to issue any permits, we need to see that the health department has approved those plans and that design and concept that you want to do. So do tenant improvement permits take a long time to get? That's probably one of the most frequently asked questions we get. How long is this going to take? Well, for the building side of it, for our department, for the permitting process, that initial review, once that application's in, things are routed, it's around 3 weeks. And you're going to get comments back from our third-party plan checker, from our planning department, our fire department, and depending if we need our engineering department, them as well. We'll mail those or email those corrections out, or that correspondence out. If there's corrections that are needed, then you'll go back to your design professional, have them redraw those plans or make those corrections or address those comments, and then resubmit them back into the building department. From that point, it's another typically couple weeks before you're going to hear anything from us. It may be that everything gets approved, and so the team will work with you and be able to get that permit issued. It may be that there's more corrections that need to be made. Your architect or your engineer didn't address all those corrections. This is why it's very important when you're hiring an architect or an engineer, make sure you hire a competent individual. There's licensed, yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, there's 13 volumes of the code. Not to mention the health and safety code, the government code, business and professions code, different assembly bills, senate bills that we have to follow that we enforce. So there's a lot of things that you want to make sure that your design professional, your architect or engineer, is up to date on and knows. But I'm not making any improvements to the space I rented. Do I still need to get a permit? Well, many times you're just taking over a built-out space. So you don't need any tenant improvement plans, but you still do need an occupancy permit. Basically what that occupancy permit does is it allows us to go in, verify the conditions. It looks if there's been any illegal construction. We verify that everything is safe, once again, for those people in those different buildings. Because that's really our key, right? I don't gain anything from requiring a permit and from enforcing the building codes on a site. I don't personally gain anything. The only thing that the city does is we have the benefit of knowing that that building is going to be safe for the city and knowing that that building is going to be safe for those people occupying that building. And it doesn't matter if it's the corporate room or a house or an ADU or what it is. That's our main goal. Let's see here. And why is that our goal? Because unpermitted construction is a health and safety concern. By definition of the code, it's a health and safety concern. It's a life and safety concern. We are concerned about those people in those buildings. Oftentimes as well, if you talk with your insurance companies, if there's unpermitted construction and something happens in that unpermitted construction, say a fire, and it takes out the entire building, you think they're going to cover it? Insurance will not cover all the damages if there's unpermitted construction. So it's a safety net for you as well as owners, as business owners, to have those permits to make sure that you're always covered. And then also we encourage you to speak with your insurance company regarding if there's any benefits from having a building and safety inspection, like when we come out and do that occupancy permit or that occupancy inspection. Is there any benefit for you? Is there on as far as the costs go? Same thing with fire. Ask them, is there any benefit when we have a fire inspection, have that annual inspection, come out and go through our business annually to make sure we're up to code and there's no health and safety concerns? Many times they do. Who said renovations are stressful? This dear lady is 39 years old. So we do not want it to be stressful for you. Okay? I said earlier, we're a phone call away. You guys at your fingertips have a wealth of knowledge in building codes and building permit process and permits and plan check. You guys have a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. Use that knowledge. Use us. That's what we're here for. We want everything for you to go as smoothly as possible. It can be stressful, right? Especially home remodels. Home remodels can be very stressful for a husband and wife. So we want to alleviate any pain that we can for you guys. So just remember, always reach out. If you have any questions, reach out. Somebody tells you something and it just doesn't sit right, on the contractor side, call us. We'll help you out. So who are you going to call? Well, this is our building and safety department staff. So we have Deidre Mendoza. She is our senior management analyst. We have Arlene Diaz. She is our development services technician. We have Drew Jenkins. He is our building inspector too. And we have Mitch Worth, our building inspector too as well. And I already introduced who I was. So we have our emails up there. So if you want to take a picture, you have those. That's typically the best way to get a hold of us. The texts are up to the counter and back. I'm in different meetings and back. The inspectors are obviously out in the field for the most part of the day. So emails are typically the best way to get in touch with us. So, but I had a licensed contractor do the work. You know how many times I've heard that? And the sad truth is if licensed contractors did everything right all the time, there would be no need for a building and safety department. There would be no need for building inspectors or no need for building permit technicians or myself. And it's not that they are intending to do something wrong or against the code. It's just sometimes, like I said, there's 13 volumes of it. Sometimes they miss it. So that's what we're there for. We're that second, third, fourth set of eyes on that project. Once again, what's our main concern? Everybody's safety. So, questions for you. Now, this looks pretty simple. All right? What do you guys see here? It's a door, right? A threshold going into a building. So do you think, this is kind of a trick question, do you think this is permitted or unpermitted?
For a gift card?
Do you think it's permitted or unpermitted? Somebody raise their hand.
Permitted. Anyone else?
Unpermitted, sorry, ma'am. All right, so here's why it's unpermitted. And I'll explain to you what is wrong with this picture. So this was originally a residential home. It was illegally converted into a commercial business. Part of the things that the Building and Safety Department enforces is ADA accessibility. ADA accessibility, Chapter 11 accessibility from the building code covers a multitude of things. This threshold right here, so the building code says the maximum of a threshold or something that somebody's going to go over is a 1/2 inch. Okay? Before that 1/2 inch, though, it has to go up 1/4 inch at an angle. So, not only is that door not wide enough, not only does that door, that threshold, not meet the code. You guys can't see it in the picture, but there's also glass in that door. So even that glass in that door has to meet a certain standard. Why? You and I can see when we're standing up. When somebody's sitting down, we have to provide that same level of service or that same level of expectation as somebody in a wheelchair. So 2 of them you can see, 1 of them you can't. So that was unpermitted. All right. What about this one? What do we see here? Who thinks this was permitted or unpermitted? I need a hand. Hey, you already got one. I'm going to go this side over here. Very good. So, I hear the questions. What is that? It's an electric water heater. It's an electric water heater. It's not a hot water heater. Why is it not a hot water heater? Anybody? Does anybody know why it's not a hot water heater?
Why would you need a hot water
Exactly.
for hot water?
Yeah, the purpose of it is to heat the water. So a lot of times people call it, oh, it's a hot water heater. No, it's a water heater. So, it's an electric water heater. So we see it, yes, on our nice custom TV tray. Our pressure relief valve goes just down about 4 or 5 inches, maybe past the top of that table. So if that relief valve is activated, that cannon is going to go flying. It's going to pull the water lines off.
That looks totally safe. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right? And then it's going to, all that water is going to go into our unprotected outlet right there. It's more than likely not GFI protected. So, this is what the building inspectors look for. This is what the code does, is we are looking for these safety concerns. One more. Remember to raise your hands, friends. Permitted or unpermitted? Remember to raise your hand. Right back here. What was it? Ah, very good. You guys see the theme here. So this is actually at an illegal marijuana grow.
Oh, yeah.
So what this is the electrical feeder from Edison, the lines coming up that feed underneath, feed into the underneath side of your service panel. What people do that are doing things illegally is they have these little clamps here. I don't have a pointer, but if you see the blue dot and the silver piece there, what that does is that clamps onto Edison's feeder, just cuts through that coating, and what it does by doing that is it energizes now the side that they want it to, right? So then they distribute that out into their service panels or their sub-panels that they have inside the house, bypassing Edison and bypassing the charges. So, very true, 100%, that is an illegal installation of electrical and is a severe fire hazard. So that concludes my comments and my slideshow. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
First an acknowledgement. I'm a contractor, specifically solar, and I probably pulled permits in 36+ jurisdictions. And I'd just like to say your department, and you all here, I've had nothing but good experiences. So you have to do it. That's good work. My question is just, what's like the most common kind of permit you guys are seeing? Not the most, but maybe one of the top 3 or something.
Solar right now solar's, since they started doing it, solar's been crazy. First of all, actually, thank you, I appreciate that. The staff is incredible, you're right. Solar is probably the most, what would you say the next one's on?
HVAC?
Yeah.
HVAC's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Patio covers.
Especially when we have the new homes, right? So once the new developments come in, that's when everybody starts pulling those those patio covers, they're doing gas and electric for the barbecue, they're doing pools, all that design is going into that backyard. So those are typical common.
Pools are pretty common too.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people are they blew up during COVID. Pools, I never had so many pool permits, and from that point, it never really slowed down. But of course, everyone was stuck home, so everyone wanted an oasis in their backyard, which made sense. But pools are a common permit. But solar's probably our top.
Yeah, one of our top ones still. Yeah.
Still to this day. Yeah. Any
Even
new
though they took
construction
away
is
those
required.
benefits.
Yeah, because any new construction, a lot of people don't know either. You know, at ADU, not only is it going on brand new construction, it's required to have solar. There's certain thresholds and certain things and what it is. Like all the new homes being built, stuff like that. It's the law. You have to have solar. So that's probably our number one permit, I would say, on a weekly basis, every day.
Just a quick one for new construction. A lot of these new homes come with the natural gas line outside for you to connect stuff to. If you decide to put it in a barbecue island, does that require a permit to connect to it?
Yeah, it does. So the only time that it would not require a permit is if you have that stub out that's right at the back of your house, and you put your barbecue right there within that 3 foot that yellow hose reaches. Anything more than that, it requires a permit.
Have a SoCal gas person put it together or licensed contractor.
Yeah, always licensed contractor, man. Always licensed contractor. Yeah, and even at that, even at that too. I don't know if you guys have seen, but CSLB, California Contractor State Licensing Board, has been around going to different areas. A couple months ago, I think, I sent Kimberly a news article of up in Bakersfield they were going. Actually, that's kind of what prompted this meeting or this presentation today.
They did the sting operation.
Yeah, they did the sting operation. And then just recently, I believe it was Menifee, did another one. And if you're not familiar, if you're planning on building something or doing some work at your house, look at the Contractor State Licensing Board's website. They have a lot of do's and don'ts and what's required and what a contractor can ask depending on the scope of work, depending on the kind of building that's going on. And also, you can look on there and see if somebody says, oh yeah, I'm licensed for this, if they're really licensed for that. And then also, if they can really pull the permits and build what they want to do, right? Like say a general contractor, can he build a pool? He can't build a pool. If he has a C53 license, he can build a pool. Or he can contract with a licensed C53 swimming pool contractor and they can build a pool. But he specifically cannot do the pool. There's a lot of information on the CSLB's website.
So I have two ADA questions, because I haven't done my homework, so I'll be calling you guys. I had to buy a generator because my husband's on oxygen. To put that into a gas line that's into my house, or am I gonna make sure I get a licensed contractor and he will do the work, or I still need to follow up that whether he needs a permit or not?
So he will need a permit, and depending on how your contract is written, depends on who is responsible for pulling that permit on your contract. No, as a homeowner, or as a business owner, as a building owner, liability is always going to fall on you. Okay? So, many times a contractor will say, we don't need a permit for it, or yeah, go ahead and you can pull the permit for it. If the homeowner doesn't know that, they're not going to. They're going to charge you if they're going to do it, but many times they're charging excess of what the city is actually charging. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
Just one more. I've seen a lot of Christmas lights going up these days. And so they're not like the traditional Christmas lights. They're like actually under the E and they're LED and they're controlled by an app like everything else. Any permits on Christmas lights?
No, so temporary lighting does not require a building permit. However, it's limited to 90 days.
So these newer ones, are they on your radar or?
No, Jeff, you can't have it year round.
They're limited to 90 days. Yeah, I mean, if we go out to a property and we see something.
He's in Murrieta, he can have it year round.
Yeah, if we go out to a property and we see stuff that's illegal, that's unpermitted, for the safety of you guys, we're going to say something. We're going to help you out. Yeah. Anybody else?
Ashley's over here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So if someone, say they buy an older house, nothing came up in the inspection, but they don't know what was built when and if permits, is there a process for something like that where they can have you come out and look around and have it not, and then if there are issues, work with them on getting under compliance without it being too painful?
Yeah, so first and foremost, understand residential home inspectors for real estate are completely different than building inspectors for your city or local jurisdiction. We look at the construction through the process of it. They come out and look at the receptacles, look at your doors, at your lights. They don't hold the same certifications that your city building department does. Okay, so a lot of times people will say, "Oh, it didn't come up in the inspection report." It's because they're looking at essentially word went out of my head, like a quality control sort of thing, versus the actual construction of it that we're looking for. So the question of, is there any help that we can give them? So, like I said, we are available, right? We're available to help them through, to guide and direct them with what they need to do. If we find out something's unpermitted, many times that home's been sold multiple times, and it falls onto that current homeowner to deal with that. We still have to enforce what the building code says, right? But that doesn't mean that every single house, say there's a home and it has a 500 square foot addition on it. There's certain things that we'll look for after you've gone through the permitting process. We'll go out and help you and look at it. And if there's things that we see that go, oh man, I can see this, and I know if they did this, and this other stuff is not going to meet code, right? Then that gets in a little more invasive in what we have to open up, what we have to see. But the team is always there to help the applicants along.
So when purchasing a home and having patio covers, so I know some require permits, but in purchasing it, I had one in the front and the back, made of wood, but want to update it because there was an existing, and do a metal, does that require a permit?
Yeah, so if you think back to that slide we had where it had that whole list of everything, anytime you're enlarging, altering, changing, modifying, yeah, it's going to need a permit. Once again, we're always there to help, ask questions, and before you buy a house, before you change a patio cover, before you do anything, call us. We'll look in our records, and if we don't have them in our records, say it was before the city incorporated, we'll direct you to the Riverside County Building and Safety Department, and we'll give you the specifics on what you need to ask for and how you need to ask for it. Because a lot of times it'll come up that, oh no, we don't have any records. But it wasn't the question wasn't asked of the right person or the right department. Or specifically, say something is permitted, but it never got through that final inspection. They still have that record of the inspections that it went through. So now if you're coming in and trying to legalize that addition, I'll take that and look at it, see how far you got, and that helps us in working with the individual, getting them to that final inspection point.
What are the penalties? Worst from least case scenario, from like minor infraction to like worst case scenario?
So the building code sets forth what the cities can do. So typically, illegal construction or unpermitted construction or construction without a permit is a double fee of the permit fees. And that covers the cost, once again, of the city, the staff, the extra resources we have to put forward now to cover those, that illegal construction.
Plus, sometimes you have to redo the work.
Mhm.
Yeah, you might have to also redo the work.
So,
What you
and
done wrong.
what
So you
may,
might have paid once and they did it wrong and then you gotta redo it again.
and what may require typically 3 inspections, because it was done without permits and without inspections, now it's gonna be 6 or 7 inspections. So it covers the city's costs in that respect. Any other questions? Going once? Twice? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Scott. That was very valuable information. We appreciate it. I think there was a lot of good questions there. Again, this is for the safety, so sometimes we hear the city just wants money. Or, no, that's not what it is. We want you to be safe, you safe, myself safe, my family safe when we go to your business. And that's what it is about. Now, we have been a city for 16 years, so prior to that, when we were county, maybe there weren't as many inspections around. So we are coming into where there is an existing business and they do need to come compliant. But thank you. I know our staff does go out and look at those cases and see what can be done to make sure that everyone is compliant.
I just want to say too that there are lawyers around in our valley that will go out and they will measure the width of doors and they will measure things that are ADA or not ADA compliant. And they will slap you with a lawsuit that you pretty much cannot win. So making sure that you have the proper inspections to make sure that those things are all in compliance really is a benefit to the business to make sure that you don't get into that kind of lawsuit to begin with.
We've had that happen here in Wildomar. They were going around. Yeah, so thank you. So any general other questions besides that or announcements? For our community. I know, Jason, you have an event coming up, November 25th?
24th.
November 24th. A car show, they did it last year, they're doing it again at the outlet centers. It's a car show and event, so come over and support the Tri-City Gators. Yes.
Bridget, I just want to give kudos to our little city, and a couple weeks ago, or last week, was it last week, we were doing the coffee with the pro team, and I mentioned the light at Bundy Canyon and Sellers, and within a couple days, it was changed and fixed, and I just love our city, so I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
And then I have a just out of curiosity, and since I see code enforcement here, at the corner of Lemon and Grape, there's a property over there with cars that look like it's a chop shop and all kind of crazy stuff going on over there. I know, I see that, but, so is there? Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah. So she knows about that
It might not be my
case.
business, but it is my business because I live here.
Okay.
I'll talk to her after.
Okay. So John Parker will come over to speak with you after. We know about it. Just we'll say that out publicly. Yes, Pat.
And I just want to say the Wildomar Historical Society will be meeting at the library on November 23rd this month.
Okay, so the Wildomar Historical Society will be meeting on November 23rd. It's a Saturday at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. at the Wildomar Library. So I have attended the last 2 meetings. So there is information. Last time they brought some historical maps. It was really interesting to see what Wildomar looked like, 100 years ago. But they had some great information there. So if you'd like to attend. Any other questions? Remember, this is our last one until next year.
Adam's sort of raising his
Oh, Adam. Do you want to come up, Adam?
No, it's just real quick. It's getting chillier. People are starting to turn on their heaters and such. If you know somebody who is financially challenged, has a medical condition, or needs a rebate, go to SoCalGas.com/assistance, and there are numerous programs. And those Edison guys, they have these type of programs too. Except, well, I'm here, they're not. But there are lots of assistance programs available to folks that might be having a tough time paying their bill. SoCalGas.com/assistance. Thank you.
Adam, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Adam, SoCal Gas.
Adam at the top with SoCal Gas. So he was saying if anyone has these assistance or our programs available at SoCalGas.com/programs. /assistance, okay. Wanda.
I just recently retired,
so I work for the Postal Service, and I'm just gonna put a plug in. Please keep your patios lit for the carriers that are gonna be out delivering, because it's gonna get crazy. It's being dark, and visually to be able to see when they're bringing those packages to the door, keeping it clear for their safety, because I've had a couple of falls in my career, and so just keep it well lit, please.
So we do want to thank Wanda for her, how many years of service? 30 years of service to the USPS. And so what she was saying is make sure you keep your patios, like we know, it got darker earlier, right? Time change, so keep those patio lights on. You want to get your Christmas deliveries. Also bring in your Christmas deliveries early. Don't leave them in your cars, don't leave them on the porches. Bring them in, unfortunately we have those porch pirates. So, well, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. So speaking of happy holidays, See's Candy, we're going over there right after this, and we're going to do a taping over there. So we do right now have a pop-up store. See's Candy is in Wildomar next to Stater Brothers and the Stater Brothers Shopping Center. We're hoping, so please go over there and buy something from them. We want it to be a permanent location, not just a pop-up. So let's please support another local business. We're also going to go over to a bow today. We're going to do some taping. So we have a lot of tapings after this. So please watch the website. If you haven't signed up, please sign up for our email. Kimberly sends out everything going on in our city. Watch the City of Facebook page also for more information. So a lot of ways to get information. Also contact all your city council members too. So happy Thanksgiving. We live in a wonderful community. I appreciate everyone. It was a great year. It'll be a better year next year too with Ashley. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Great presentation. Thank you so much. Very informative and fun too. Appreciate that. One quick announcement for those of you who don't know, next Thursday morning is our chamber breakfast. We have it every second Thursday. But November is always a very special one because it's the month that we get to recognize all of our nonprofits. So we will have presentations next week from all of our nonprofits that are, I'm sorry. Oh, is it this week? Oh my gosh. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I am so off. I am a week off. Yesterday just threw my schedule. So in 2 days, if you want to come join us for a great breakfast and find out about some amazing nonprofits that are doing great work here in our valley, come and join us for that. But thank you again for our Coffee with the City with Wildomar here today. Thank you again to the Corporate Room, to Dunkin' Donuts. Everyone have a phenomenal holiday season.